This is Amund, a brewer, fermentation enthusiast, and Norway's first beer sommelier, but also co-founder of the groundbreaking and pioneering brewery Eik&Tid, that focuses on making mixed fermentation raw beers, using techniques and methods not only from Norwegian Farmhouse brewing, but in combination with sour beer brewing techniques from all over the world.
Amund, I've been a big fan for a long time. It's very nice to meet you up here. Last time, our first time I went to Norsk Kornølfestival was last year, and I was a little bit disappointed to not see you last year. So it's very good to see you this year.
Well, that was very unlucky because that's the only Kornølfestival I've actually missed.
Yeah,
I've been to everyone since the beginning. Well, I mean, this festival is something that I do not want to miss. And we are here with the brewery, and we're now pouring some beers, but it's not really about promoting the brewery. None of the breweries that are here to make shitloads of money or promote the brewery. We really just want to be a part of this fantastic initiative and meet the traditional brewers and see the kveik and smell the beers. And I'm also so lucky to sit on the judges panel for deciding the best beer of the festival. And so I get to try all the beers blind, and that's really awesome. All traditional beers from all over Norway, and even some from Finland this year. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's two things of this. With you personally, I think it's a little funny because you're the taste guy. I know some of the things that you have said that's fascinating me is the sense of place in taste. You know, like this beer can only come from this place, and it reflects on the culture from this place. And another thing is that you have taken some of this tradition into your brewery and made it a part of Eik&Tid. Can't you say something about that?
Yeah, well, the comment on your the first thing you say there is that I can almost not shut up about beer and the sense of a place and how that's sorely needed in the beer world. I mean, we have some fantastic beer that is made today by craft breweries, but they're very much a sameness. It is a copy of what they're doing in the United States, and it's with ingredients from the United States even, right? And industrial malts from mainland Europe. And then you can go into a beer bar in Oslo, Helsinki, Bangkok, wherever, and it's the same beer. Yeah. It's a hazy IPA, right? Yeah. And it might be a fantastic hazy IPA, but it's the sameness. And this, I think everyone feels this a little bit. And if you look at other food and drink categories, the trend and what everyone's looking for is something more local or regional or what belongs in this country. And you might say that's, of course, the trend of the times, and maybe it'll disappear, but I think the important part is that if you create a beer with a sense of place, it will taste different, and this will add to the diversity of beer, which makes it more interesting for everyone, right? So I think that's the essence of it. And with regards to Eik&Tid, which is our brewery, we can say that our sort of style of making mixed fermentation raw beers were inspired by coming here and tasting the raw beers of Hornindal. And especially for me and Bjørn, who I started the brewery with, when we tasted Stig Seljeseth, the man who has the Stallion brewery and the Stallion Kveik, when we tasted his beer, because it was slightly tart, and we had this fantastic mouthfeel of raw beer, and there was shiitake, mushrooms, there was umami, there was citrus. It just blew our minds, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, can we push this even further? Can we make this into actual sour beer and play with that? And among a lot of other inspirational moments from traditional beer, this was the one that kind of set the style of mixed fermentation raw ale that we do. So yeah, this is very important to the core of what we do. But of course we have to underline, we don't have to do it here because people know what kornøl is supposed to taste like here. But when we travel, we have to like underline that we don't make traditional beer. If you taste our beer, it's not like tasting a kornøl. It's not like tasting Norwegian traditional beer. It's actually the closest thing is to that traditional beer that's gone bad, right? When it goes sour in traditional beer, they don't want it. So, but we take these elements of Nordic and Norwegian tradition, and we use them as tools to create flavors and texture in the mixed fermentation royal that we are making. So this is a great inspirational source, but also like a toolbox for us.
And I think that's really, really interesting, because you have, and that's another thing I think you in your brewery has done very well, is not to try to emulate or copy this style of beer and say that's what we're selling, but taking all of the knowledge and doing something new, and a concept of the sense of place. This is from here, with the traditions and the taste and everything. That's
Thank you.
Really motivating for me.
Thank you. I mean, it's when you get inspired, like it's like an artist or a musician or whatever. It's not very often like a musician will say, "I'm inspired by Bob Dylan," and they just do cover songs, right? But that's not the way it works usually. But you can see elements, you can see some inspirational, some techniques, something they use, some sort of signature that you can trace to that artist. Or maybe not at all. Maybe they just loved hearing that and started making their own music, and it's metal, right? But I think that's the key point here, right? Instead of trying to emulate a beer that really, to my opinion, is really not suitable for commercialization in the modern sense, because it's a living beer. Like if you brewed it 2 weeks ago, like it will taste different a week before this, and also a week from now, and even from day to day, the condition and flavors of these beers will change, and that's a fantastic thing. And you cannot capture that in like fermenting to final gravity, packaging, and shelf life. This modern way of thinking of producing beer. So I think that's sort of the beauty of it, that it is hard to commercialize that. So good luck to those who try, and some people do it really well, but yeah, that was never something we were motivated to do. So,
and I think that's really, really good. And so can't you pitch me why should I go to Norsk Kornølfestival next year?
You should come here because it's a really unique experience. I mean, I usually say, don't think this is a beer festival, because it doesn't look like, feel like, or behave like a beer festival anywhere. This is more like a rural, traditional food fest in some weird village, someplace in Italy or whatever. And you're meeting locals on their premises, and it is the logistics that are available here, but it's real. Like, it's so real. And of course, this is even without mentioning the beer. The beer is mind-blowing. Like the beer is, even though you're like a beer writer, a beer expert, professional brewer, I don't care. If you haven't tried Nordic traditional beer, you're starting at scratch here. Like you're gonna just have to let go of everything you thought you knew about beer, and then you're just gonna have to humbly go and talk to these people and try their beer and try to make sense of it all. And that's probably not going to happen this weekend, but you're going to be like bombarded with expressions and tastes and flavors you never experienced before. And I think if you're just tiny bit of a curious person, this must seem pretty intriguing, I hope.
Yeah, I agree. And ending on that, thank you for sitting down with me.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Of
It was
course.
nice.
And I will now go and buy a beer from you. My favorite.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.